It's the Jake and Ben Show. 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 Oh.
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Jake and Ben Show. Jake here, and I'm with Ben as always.
Hello.
And like always, we're gonna talk some movies, talk some drama. Comic-Con just happened recently, so there's a bunch of trailers and stuff that came out of that we're gonna talk about for a big chunk of this episode. But there's also some Star Wars news. We're a little late to the James Gunn controversy, but we're gonna jump on that bandwagon now. There's also a new statement that's come out by the cast that we can hit on. Let's because the James Gunn stuff we're a little late to the party. We're gonna start with that, and
Yes.
I'm not too sure your opinion on that, Ben. I haven't heard it. I know I have really passionate feelings about this.
Yeah.
So,
I'll start off quick
yeah.
without giving it all. I'll just say, which I told you before we started recording, that I'm happy we're doing it now because what I would have said a week ago is different than what I'm going to say today. And I went through a few phases. When I first seen the news, I just seen The Equalizer 2, which caused a massive headache. I've told you stuff about Equalizer 2, but not fully. It was for me, it was one of the worst movies of the year. So when the credits started rolling, quickly got out my phone. I was so bored and I just wanted to see what was going on. And the first thing I see is James Gunn was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck's this? I send you a text, then I read more about it, and he's getting fired for tweets. And I'm seeing everywhere talking about these tweets and how these tweets are terrible, jokes about pedophilia and rape. And I went looking everywhere for him. I couldn't find him. And then I seen what the spark of this was, is that James Gunn, he's vocal in his opinions about Trump. And I'm not getting political here, but this is, where it came from. There was a conservative guy who wasn't liking that that James Gunn was vocal about Trump. So he went up, dug up some tweets, says, oh, here's some tweets exposing James Gunn. I thought the use of exposed was funny because he tweeted them out himself, so he's not really exposing anything. When he tweet. Anyways, it's a different stuff. So I read the tweets, and so one of the jokes, I won't read them. You can find them now. There's a bunch of collages you can find of them. And, you get one of pedophilia, which is not funny. And then you get one of rape. And they are very distasteful. And when it got to like the fifth pedophilia one, I'm like, okay, I get it. Understandable. I get why you fired the guy. And I come back to a place of, I don't think he should have been fired. The tweets are definitely distasteful. But I like the man with comedy. Well, I love comedy, stand-up comedy, not tweet comedy, is you get like, even in small environments, you just get this, intimate setting, somebody making jokes, and you can just say outrageous things. That's what I love about comedy. They don't necessarily translate well with tweets. Some people can nail it. James Gunn's not a comedian. They were bad jokes, however, they are jokes. And there's something going, like, the people are taking it and saying, having conspiracy theories that he is a pedophile. He's rape people. He hasn't. At least nothing has come out that he has. And these were just distasteful jokes. I think, it was way too quick of a firing. I get why Disney did it for the PR. However, whatever happened to due process, it's that something. And James Gunn even addressed this in 2012 before. I'm not sure if he was hired in 2012, but I know Guardians came out in 2014. He addressed the tweets, said he's changed, and even to his statement after getting fired, how the Guardians films have changed him as a person. I'll say that for now. I want to hear what you think, because when I texted you this, you had a strong opinion on it.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you hit a few points that I wanted to hit on. But I'll repeat them, and I'll also make some different points. First of all, Disney knew about these tweets years ago, and it didn't bother them then. What I don't get is this is who James Gunn was, and everyone knew that. And all of a sudden, now is the time they want to fire him because of it.
Yeah,
sure,
and
it
Alan
got
Horn
dug
comes
up.
out and says, "Oh, we didn't know any of this before."
Right. Which is bullshit, because James Gunn
bullshit.
has apologized for it before. And this is something like, you're telling me when they hired him, they did not know his history or who he was? Like, it's complete bullshit. What upsets me, too, is that you mentioned that it's a conservative person, which I barely scratches the surface of who this is who dug it up. Don't want to name their names, but if you look at their Twitter, it is far more offensive than anything James Gunn said. Far more offensive. Actually addressing that, like serious, non-funny rape statements. They're not jokes. Nothing is coming from humor from this other dude. It is very, very offensive. And Disney firing James Gunn is just letting this other person win. I don't know if they realize that. This person is making a political attack against James Gunn, and Disney is on his side. They're giving him what he wanted, and it is so fucking asinine that this is even a thing. And not to mention that, yes, James Gunn's tweets are very unfunny and stupid, but they are very clearly intended to be funny. They're very clearly jokes. They're very obviously nothing James Gunn himself acts upon. There has been far more edgy and offensive humor than this. And to fire him over that, like, of course it was very dumb of James Gunn to tweet these things, being the person he is, being in this space. But then again, it was so many years ago. And Alan Horn,
close
or
to
anyone,
a decade ago.
Yeah, anyone at Disney 10 years ago, you are not the same person as you are now. People grow and learn, and the precedent that you're setting is that who you are is who you're always going to be, and you cannot learn from your mistakes. He should be able to learn. That's how you grow as a person, is you make mistakes and you learn from them. You continue to make mistakes and you continue to learn from them. This is telling you that no, you cannot learn from your mistakes. Mistakes should not happen, but that is not life. And this is fucking stupid as fuck. I can't believe that because of some fucking really juvenile edgelord fucking 2012 internet humor tweets, he's losing a job over. And everyone, I think, in the public space and who's part of the Guardians team, to segue it to the little note that they wrote, everyone understands who James Gunn is now. He's not the person tweeting these things, and he's most 100% definitely not the person acting on these tweets, which he never was. And everyone realizes that. And it's very bizarre that Disney knows about this and fires them anyways. It's like, is it just weird timing to do with the Fox thing, and they're just trying to make sure that they're 100% squeaky clean? I don't know. It's just weird to take, like, these are stupid, just like edgelord tweets. They're not funny, yes, and they are stupid. But to fire someone over it, it's just like, there has to be a precedent set that people change and people evolve, especially over that many years. He's learned. He didn't take anyone else telling him to apologize. He apologized years ago. It reminds me of recently also the Rick and Morty creator, Dan Harmon, I believe it was, made a joke about, what was it, like having sex with a baby or something like that. And it came out, and then he didn't get fired, which he apologized for, and they very much so recognize it was stupid humor, but it's not worth losing your job over. It's just something you would learn from, and you would move on and become a better person. And that's something that's a lesson that we could all learn from it. But instead, Disney is just like, no, fuck you. And
yeah, very much the lesson it teaches. With Disney, it's very much their audience is kids. They want to appeal to kids in their movies of, kids growing up. Look at Guardians. Is essentially that story. You get a bunch of misfits who come together and try to do good. And for some people, redeem themselves. What you're showing the future and now is that you may have said something stupid in the past and acknowledged it and apologized for it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because in the end, fuck you, you're going to get fired. Now, I can understand the PR. And where I think some of it goes to is not so much the Fox deal, which I think it also goes to Roseanne being fired from ABC, owned by Disney, of her being a vocal Trump supporter, a Republican. And if you're going to fire her for tweets, then why can't you fire the liberal first tweets? I can see the PR. I see the way, but I'm even someone who thinks that Roseanne shouldn't have been fired. I think as she's starting to make her bed now for things she's come out and said now about her apology and, but at the time, I think maybe that was a bit too soon. She had tweeted other stuff in the past that was far worse than, in my opinion, what she tweeted. It's another subject, but they're in they're just in a place of, in today's time, political divide, fandom divide. We live in an outrage, culture of everybody loves to be outraged. And when someone's outraged, they're going to want somebody to be fired. Whether you look at, and look at any property you love, there's outrage within that community. There's outrage everywhere. And everybody wants somebody to be fired right away. Fire this person because they said something outrageous. And that's the time we live in. It's unfortunate. I think it sucks for James Gunn because I don't think he should have been fired. But then you also see fans of Guardians that I'm someone who thinks petitions are worthless. You're not going to get, for this type of stuff. I don't think petitions are going to go far. However, there was a petition for James Gunn to come back to Volume 3. There's a lot of people that signed onto it, as you see, with if you've read with the Guardians cast, the statement they put out, they want to see James back.
Yeah.
I would like to see it, but I don't think. I think that even makes more of a mess if they backtrack now.
No, I think they should backtrack. I don't think they will, but I definitely do think they should. I've never seen, when someone's been fired or whatever, I've never seen this kind of fight back against it. Because having the cast come out like this is, it's big for this kind of thing for sure. I'm just, this idea that, this zero tolerance, very knee-jerky, reactionary, and
there's no due process
culture that we live in. It's just exactly. It's all or nothing. It's you say one bad thing and it's done. It's over. You can't defend yourself. It's just nothing. And it's really sad for James Gunn, and it sucks because Guardians. Fucking Guardians 2 is the shit. So I don't know. Stop.
I think you have some people that would disagree with you there. However,
I know.
The first Guardians of the Galaxy, is one of the best MCU movies.
If I was defending if it was the director of, I don't know, Thor 2 and he got fired and wasn't coming back to third one, even though Thor 2 is all right, I would still defend him the same way.
Yes.
I'm just saying as an MCU fan, and I would like to see James Gunn complete his trilogy. But,
Yeah, I would agree. I think I've said mostly everything. There's a lot of things we could say or talk about.
Yeah.
However,
we're running a little long on this already.
Yeah, we've already done 13 minutes there. Now, you know what? Let's talk about something that brings joy to me, and it's Mission Impossible Fallout. Guess what? Its opening box office, it was $61.5 million, beating the previous record holder for the franchise, Mission Impossible 2, which that had $57 million.
What?
Now,
Mission Impossible 2 was the
Mission Impossible 2 held the record
holder?
for opening weekend.
Weird.
However, I believe Ghost Protocol has the overall box office number, with Rogue Nation slightly behind.
Okay.
So,
makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes me happy that Mission Impossible Fallout made 61.5, being franchise best. Now, I say that because I love this movie. There's only one of them I haven't seen, which was Mission 2. I was told multiple times, stay away from that movie, which I have. And I'll say, I wasn't a big Mission fan. You asked me 8 months ago, I wasn't. I had seen some of the stuff, but what got me on board was the first trailers when I seen Henry Cavill, however you want to say his last name. I've heard both, but Henry Cavill, Superman. He squares up in the bathroom scene, and I'm like, yo.
Yeah, that scene.
I'm down for this.
Where he reloads his arms.
Yes, yeah.
I kept reading that online. I thought that was so funny. He's reloading his arms.
Yeah, reloading the arms. And because of that, I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued now. I think this trailer's awesome. That just got me way on board. So I go back and I watch Mission Impossible 3 because it's on Netflix. I watch that. I'm like, hey, I like this. And then I go and I watch Ghost Protocol. I'm like, I like this even more. I watch Rogue Nation. And I'm like, I like this even more. And then here comes Fallout. Then this went up to, one of my most anticipated of the year. So to show you where I've come from. And I had seen one, I just didn't remember it. I went back to watch it to get fresh with it. To me, 1's okay. I like 3. I think 4, we're getting there. 5, I think that's a fantastic film. Now, from watching those going to this one, something that was missing in the other ones were the physicality of fights. Like, not to say the other ones didn't have it, but there wasn't a physical presence of Ethan Hunt is going to have to fight this whoever. It's just more, there's a mission that is impossible. How are we going to get it done? There's going to be a lot of crazy stunts, which this movie has them. It totally has them, but I feel the added the physical fights, the physicality of it, I think for me did a lot. And I love this film. You said you had questions. I don't know if I should review it now, but I'm happy it made a lot of money. Christopher McQuarrie, fucking love the guy. I think this movie's awesome. You have questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to. What were my questions? I wanted to talk about Mission Impossible, but I got kind of sidetracked there when you started talking about and how you said you hadn't seen 2, and that just derailed everything I was thinking because you haven't seen 2, and 2 is so wild. Just to give my background on the franchise, I guess, before we get into anything. Rogue Nation was the first one I saw because I saw it in theaters. Everyone was buzzing about it, so I wanted to see it. I saw it, and it was great. Rogue Nation is probably my favorite. However, saying that, I have only seen 3 Mission Impossible movies. 1, 2, and Rogue Nation. I'm watching all of them before I go see Fallout. Just because I don't feel like I'm in a rush to really see it. We have you to talk about it on the podcast, what you've been doing. And I wanted to give myself the full experience. So I finished 2 last night or the night before, and the day before that I watched 1. So I'm on 3 now. I haven't started 3. But 2 is fucking. I honestly 2 is just as good as 1, for completely different reasons. And I really want you to watch the second one.
When I had texted you after I seen Fallout, and you had mentioned you were watching it, and after seeing them all, I will check out 2. I just haven't been in a rush to check it out.
You should be. It's like,
but I will. It is
very over the top, and it's like, how's the best way to describe? Probably over the top, but it's a lot of fun. And man, I really dug it. I know it gets a lot of shit, but I would totally watch it. Anyways, questions for Fallout.
Questions for Fallout. Let's hear them.
Do you have to see other Mission Impossible movies? I hear that the story kind of follows directly after Rogue Nation. So, do you recommend watching Rogue Nation, or what do you think?
I will say you
for
don't
myself
have to.
And for people listening.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you don't have the time, you just want to see Fallout, go see it. You don't have to have seen previous ones or Rogue Nation because they very much tell you what is going on, so you won't be lost. However, I would say it's the first Mission movie that definitely feels a lot like a sequel, considering Christopher McQuarrie did Rogue Nation and Fallout. Right. So a lot of what happened in Rogue Nation, Fallout ties the bow, I will say.
Okay.
If that's okay. I don't want to spoil it because there are spoilers in this movie, and
good stuff.
Without giving much away, like trailers have been doing recently, which I like, there's a lot of misdirection.
Oh.
In the trailer for Fallout, which is I thought was a good thing.
I like that a lot. That's definitely always a good thing.
As a fan of now being a young fan of this Mission franchise, it's for me, it's my favorite Mission movie. It's Rogue Nation was close, but this one it hits the strings that I was missing from the previous ones. If I'm going to be critical of it, it follows certain patterns. There are certain characters that have very similar arcs to people who had in Rogue Nation. There's a lot of exposition, a lot useful, some you may not have needed. That's more of the critical aspect of it. But I think all around for a mission movie and just a movie in general, it just checks off all the boxes.
Okay, one other thing.
It's why it's for me it's why I like going to the movies, not just for superhero films. Movies like this, I love it.
For sure. Another thing, does it feel like it is just trying to one up the last one? Because I know like the movie kind of sells itself off of the crazy stunts that Tom Cruise does. Does it feel like it's trying to one up the last one? And does it one up the last one?
It does. They definitely try, but it doesn't feel like, oh, they're trying just to, maybe one thing you can feel they're trying, but it just works so good. I don't think as a whole it feels like they're trying. And personally, I think it does one up it, and there's a lot of. I don't want to say much because I do think it is very much an experience of like, you got to experience this film. It may sound ridiculous because it's not Infinity War, it's not Star Wars, so what do you mean by that? But if you're a fan of this or just a fan of cinema films or action, there's a lot of stuff that it's fun to experience it and not hear things.
Yeah, definitely.
Of what happened, especially now
I'm actually more excited than I was before to see it.
I'll say like this whole franchise, it's built off these big ridiculous stunts and the interaction between cast members. And for me, I love the cast, but what I felt in Rogue Nation was definitely I loved the addition of Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa, and even so much more in this. I think she's phenomenal. Her and Christopher McQuarrie, I think, were the it's not that it needed to, because Ghost Protocol was fantastic. J.J. Abrams, lit the fire with 3. But you can definitely feel the addition of those two, at least for me.
All right, sweet, yeah. What else is... is Henry Cavill's mustache worth it?
It is so worth it, and I'll tell you why. Justice League, I remember when I seen Justice League, I was like, oh, well, we've seen the Justice League on screen, but, like, the movie stinks. And, I got this app of to watch movies, not Netflix, I forget what it's called, but it's where I can watch Showtime, HBO. It's pretty much like HBO Go, but I have Showtime and other stuff on it.
Okay. And
a new addition was Justice League, and I see it there. I'm like, do I even now I can essentially watch this for free, but I don't even want to go back to it. Now, why I say that is that Justice League, you think that's the big one. Just shave the mustache. I'm so glad they didn't shave the mustache because the mustache is so good. It is so good. And there's one point in this movie, I guess a light spoiler alert. It's not a spoiler to the plot or the film itself. Henry Cavill says the word die. And in Justice League, he says to Batman something about die. I forget the exact line. But the way his mouth moves in Justice League, it looks very awkward. A lot of people notice that, obviously. Now, in the way he says this word, die, in Justice League, you can tell something just doesn't look right. It looks better than most stuff, but still something doesn't look right. And when he says this word, die, in Fallout, you can tell. It puts things like, oh my goodness. Because the way his lips move, obviously, if you have a mustache, your lip movement, you hardly see the upper lip. So I thought I had a laugh when he says the word die in Fallout, because I thought of Justice League, but the mustache, it's so worth keeping for Fallout. I think Henry Cavill said, just wait until you see Mission Impossible, you understand why I didn't shave the mustache. And yeah, it's a far better movie that I'm happy to have seen the horror of the mustache removal in Justice League than to have to see some weird morphed thing in Mission Impossible.
Good to
I'll
hear.
even go as far as to say it's still a young, we're halfway through. There's a lot of movies to come out, but there are only about 3 legitimate movies that would be I think are great films this year. And Mission Impossible would be one of them.
Oh. What are the other 2? Just curious.
It would be A Quiet Place, and this one I wouldn't necessarily... it's up there because of what it made me feel, and it's Infinity War.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say those are probably the other 2, but yeah. Just wanted to hear them out of your mouth.
Yes, and hey, I could say Mission Impossible Fallout on a second time would be the one to top that. I loved it so much.
Damn, I'm excited. All right, let's move along here because we're at 24, 25 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? we'll go through. So, episode 9,
Yes.
Lucasfilm, they put out a press release. And to me, well, they called it a casting announced, but it's more of a press release. And I usually don't, care about press releases, but I'll read it to you. So, Star Wars Episode 9 will begin filming at London's Pinewood Studio August 1st, 2018. J.J. Abrams returned to direct the final installment of the Skywalker saga. Abrams co-wrote the screenplay with Chris Terrio. Now, when I first read it, I didn't put much into that, but do you think that J.J. Abrams returns to direct the final installment of the Skywalker saga? Do you think that's just he's directing the final in the sequel trilogy, or is it the final of the Skywalker saga? Do you read into that? Read into that at all?
No, I'm kind of confused with how you're asking it too. So
Do you think that it's the final of the sequel trilogy, or do you think it's the final of the Skywalker saga?
oh, so we're never gonna see a Skywalker again, kind of thing. Like this is the end of the Skywalker, sort of thing.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I when I first heard it, I assumed it was just the end of the trilogy.
That's what I assumed, and then I started reading, because as you know, all Star Wars fans do, you read into every little line. So I was like, wait a minute, final installment of the Skywalker saga? I just figured it's a question I'll ask. How do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I would still, if I had to put money on it, I'd say it's just the end of the trilogy. But
yeah, that's what I would lean to. I want,
I wouldn't be too
like the
surprised though if it
Skywalkers.
was the other way as well.
Yeah, and considering Ryan's trilogy of him saying, let's do something that has nothing to do with what we know, we'll just create something new. So maybe it's the final installment of the Skywalker saga for the next foreseeable future. Now, it goes on to, when I read this is what brought me joy, and I'm sure a lot of people did also, is returning cast members include Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, Domhnall Gleeson, Calamari Tran, the guy who plays Chewbacca, Jonas, sometimes what?
Yeah.
And Kerry Russell. Well, I missed the last part there. And Billy Lord, Carrie's daughter. And then joining the cast of Episode 9 are Naomi Ackie. I'm not familiar with her work. Are you?
No.
Then there's Richard E. Grant, who last thing I seen him in was in Logan. He played the main villain in Logan.
Oh yes, he's great. Yeah, he's good.
I assume he'll be some type of First Order, officer. And Kerry Russell. One thing I find interesting about this press release is that they put out 2. The first one didn't have Kerry Russell. Like a half an hour later, they put out a new one and Kerry Russell and whatever. I'm not sure if that was just a mistake, but Kerry Russell is confirmed to be there. And like I said, what brought joy to me was who will be joining veteran Star Wars actors Mark Hamill. So we are, okay, you figure Mark's back, but we don't have to play a guessing game. Anthony Daniels, Billy D. Williams, who will reprise his role as Lando Calrissian. And we also have Carrie Fisher coming back, which that warmed my heart, and
Yes.
I'll go on to read more. The role of Leia Organa will once again be played by Carrie Fisher using previously unreleased footage shot for Star Wars The Force Awakens. And here's what J.J. Abrams goes on to say. We desperately loved Carrie Fisher. Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CG character. With the support and blessing of her daughter Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together in Episode 7. Then it goes on to say John Williams will come back for the score, and goes on to say, the crew behind this. But to me, the biggest thing on here is Carrie Fisher. I was one of the people who, if you weren't going to, I didn't want to see the character of Leia just written off in a crawl. She's so important, and from all things that were said of what would have been Colin Trevorrow's story, or even if Carrie was alive, this was going to be Leia's movie as much as 7 was Han's and 8 was Luke's. I'm glad they found a way to have Leia in here. I'm interested to see how they do it. I mean, I know technology has come far. I'm interested to see how they do it, and I assume she won't have a big role, but I'm glad that she at least has a role nonetheless.
Yeah. Before we go into this a little bit more, is there any notable crew members? Like you said, crew. Is there a director of photography there? Or,
yes. I figured you'd be interested in that. And the man who shot Episode 7, I believe his name is Dan. Yeah, Dan Mindel. He will be coming back.
Perfect. That's really what I wanted to hear.
A lot of the same crew is coming back from Episode 7 and the previous Star Wars films. costume designers, all
Yes.
that. And one thing to add on here, which was early on announced when J.J. Abrams came back, is that the art director, notably from Blade Runner 2049, has come on to episode 9. So.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all good news. I think the J.J. Abrams and his DP together on The Force Awakens is fantastic and some of the best in Star Wars. So.
And this is the guy, not to cut you off there, but this is a guy who works for pretty much all of J.J. Abrams' stuff. He shot Mission Impossible 3, pretty much all of J.J. Abrams' feature films. He's worked on a lot of Bad Robot films. So when you see J.J.'s style of Bad Robot, it has a look to it. It's thanks to this man.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I think the big news out of all this is the Carrie Fisher thing for sure. And, you know, I was of the mindset of don't recast her, and, you know, I might be alone here. Don't recast her and don't bring a CGI character in. I actually thought, you know, don't necessarily kill her off in an opening crawl or in dialogue, but just explain her absence in an opening crawl or in dialogue. That's how I wanted them to do it. Not even thinking about reusing unseen footage, but this is definitely...
I did not think about this at all.
No, this is definitely a really unique way. Like, her role has to be moderately small. I mean, because there's only so much you can pull from unused footage, right? Unless there was, like, big arcs from The Force Awakens that we never saw with Carrie Fisher that were shot. I was watching videos, or I read it somewhere, I don't know, about people discussing possibly the technology being there to have fake her dialogue. I mean, you can also take sound bites of what she said or whatever. Maybe it wasn't necessarily how to describe this. Anyways, you could do a lot with like audio where you don't see her face but you hear her say it if you have to get plot through that way. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how they do it. I don't expect much of a role, but this is a really excellent way to bring her back. And yeah, what's also curious to me, sorry, before I let you go in, is that it's only unused footage from The Force Awakens, and they never mention unused footage from The Last Jedi. Maybe just because it's where it all makes sense to use The Force Awakens stuff because it fits narratively, or if it's because it was with J.J. Abrams before. I'm sure it's the first one. I'm sure, you know, it fits narratively with what they're doing now, whatever the unused shit they had for The Force Awakens. Maybe there wasn't much unused for The Last Jedi, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it goes with a bit of both. I think just JJ writing this, and this being, you know, his movie, that he knows everything he did with Carrie in 7. And from a lot of the stuff that was cut out that I've read about or have seen, I'm sure there's much more. Which brings up something else I want to tell you, which I totally forgot until now, that it was very much a political role she had in episode 7. A lot of the stuff that was cut from there. For me, in the sequel trilogy, some stuff that was missing was politics. I would like to see more so whether, you know, they use the stuff for politics or not. Yeah, I think it has to do with he knows what he did with Carrie in 7, and he probably worked with the script to, you know, make it work. To me, yeah, I mean, I pretty much said it. It warms my heart that she's back. Yeah. I was somebody who felt that you don't do the CG, don't write her off, and if you have to recast her, to me, I was one of the people who looked at it as not a disrespect to Carrie. It was more of an honoring Carrie's work, especially everything she went through to get back to do 7, everything she had went through just physically, losing a bunch of weight. She's talked about that I felt it, and even just for Star Wars, it would be, you know, a dishonor to not have her in here and just be some line in a crawl or some just exposition within you know, Rey talking to Poe or Lando or somebody. That I'm glad they made it work, whether it's just a, you know, a hologram, she comes up for one scene, or maybe there's a few scenes. I'm just happy, and, you know, however JJ goes about this, he does. I trust in JJ. That's how I felt with 7. You know, in JJ I trust, and in 9, in JJ I trust.
Yeah.
And which that's the biggest thing to take away from here, and to a lesser degree, like it's more heartwarming to see Carrie's in here, but to something else, what I am happy of, just we've announced Mark is back, Luke will be there. I was 99.999 sure he would. I'm just glad that now it's not a guessing game. We're not being secretive here. I'm sure there's other cast members that will be, you know, cameo. But this is our core. We got Kerry Russell, Richard E. Grant, Naomi Ackie, and yeah, I gotta assume
Is
Richard E. Grant
Mark
is some
Hamill
type of villain.
Force Ghost, you think?
Well, okay, so I
Is
think
that fair to assume?
I'm 95% sure that he's a Force Ghost. However, I think it was played as if he died. However, I don't think it's hard to write away if he's not actually dead. I think some people are looking at that and be, well, how could he not be dead? I think it's just you could just like Mark said, hey, maybe I just went to some planet and I'm naked now. I think you can explain it in an easy enough way, especially with even it depends how you take the scene. But when Rey, she's on the rock and she goes to the the cave and then she comes back, she's got water all over her. It played as if she just mentally went there. But hey, you can just do things. You can make up ways. But I'm pretty positive he'll be a Force Ghost. And with what we've seen with Yoda in The Last Jedi, there's he can have a much bigger role. And I want him to have the biggest role of a Force Ghost. I don't want it to be like Obi-Wan or like Yoda. I want a very, very meaty role for him. I would like to see maybe one scene or two with Rey, but I'm more interested in seeing, and hey, if JJ goes another place, that's okay. But I would like to see Luke interact with Kylo Ren as a ghost. I would be interested to see how that would be. I find that more interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's episode 9, scheduled to come out December of 2019.
Yeah. Want to get into some Comic-Con stuff?
I do, but I want to quickly mention something, and I'll say it quick because I know we've talked a lot here. We've been rambling on. Now, I'm gonna give you the very quick version of this. So Rogue One. So Gary Whittaker came out and talked about Vader's original role in Rogue One before reshoots. Now, Tony Gilroy had also came out and said, well, when I came on for the reshoots, it was a mess. They didn't know what they were going to do. And ultimately I came in, I looked at what we had, and ultimately what it was about was sacrifice. So that's what he wrote, and which we've seen. Now, Gary Whittaker came out and said Vader's original role in Rogue One was he was going to be on the Battle of Scarif, and he was going to kill Krennic himself, and he was going to kill every member of the Rogue One.
Oh, shit.
When I heard that, I thought two things of that. I had thought, I'm happy with what we had got, because I feel Vader coming in, as much as I want to go to Lucasfilm's, secret archive, and I want to watch that footage because I think that will look awesome. However, I do feel that I could understand how that would detract from the story of, you have your story of Rogue One, and then Vader shows up and, he's the man, and he takes away from the whole story. I can get that. However, when I hear that, I so want to see that footage.
Yeah. Shit. That's funny. It's a little ridiculous. But man, that does sound like something I'd want to see.
Yeah, it sounds like Vader just shows up on the Battle of Scarif and just kills everybody. Everybody.
Shit.
Yeah, when I heard that, I loved that. But yeah, we'll get into the Comic-Con trailers. And since we're talking about Star Wars, I'll start off with this, and we'll keep this one short because I know you haven't seen the Clone Wars series. However, you can. It's on Netflix if you want to. I would recommend it. Right. You can skip out on season 1 and 2. It gets good after that. But guess what? Clone Wars is coming back. Hashtag Clone Wars saved. They had a 10-year anniversary for Clone Wars at San Diego Comic-Con. And then they dropped this that, hey, it's coming back. And it'll be 12 episodes. And it'll be premiering on the Disney streaming service. So, to me, with my heart, I'm a fan of the series. I won't talk about the movie, but I'm a fan of the series. I agree. Season 1 and 2, I like them, but it gets better after that. And to give you some background on that Cartoon Network canceled the show after season 5. Netflix picked up the 6th season, and then the deal, I believe, with Disney happened shortly after that. And I'll quickly mention this because it was something that united the hardcore fandom. At the same time, if you look hard enough, you'll still see people, there were some people, group of the ones who happen to hate Kathleen Kennedy, think that, Dave Filoni, it was all him of how this was announced. And to quickly mention on that, it's a bit ridiculous because Kathleen Kennedy runs Lucasfilm. Everything that's decided there goes through her. So Clone Wars back is thanks to Kathleen Kennedy. As much as I love Dave Filoni, and yeah, this is his series, he wants to finish it, it's back thanks to Kathleen Kennedy. And there were some people that, thought that, maybe Dave Filoni and the crew just came in after Kathleen Kennedy left to do the show. or just think that they marched in, like in Revenge of the Sith, Mace Windu walks in on the Emperor and says, we're taking you in. And, you get Palpatine, well, it's treason, then you hear the scream. There are some people that thought that went down for the Clone Wars to be back. That did not happen. That did not happen. Kathleen Kennedy wanted this to come back. Dave was happy enough to bring it back, and he got to finish it. He's getting to finish it the way he wants, and I'm happy about that. It united the fandom, but at the same time, you can still see the cracks within it. Fine, yeah, do you got anything to comment, or you want to just move on there?
Honestly, I have I've been
no fucks to that.
I've been interested in watching it. I know I've been interested, but the idea that it's back and there's all this stuff, I really don't care too much, just because I've never seen it. I have probably zero things interesting to say about it. I like your analogy though to Revenge of the Sith, though. That was entertaining, but that's about it.
But yeah, what else came out was there was a bunch of trailers that came out, and let's talk about Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah!
Now, all right, I want you to talk about this.
Oh, this is the best trailer, or the best thing ever to come out of Comic-Con. Not ever, I mean past Comic-Con. But this Comic-Con, this won it for me. This is my favorite thing I've seen from this Comic-Con. Hands down, easy. I mean, Glass kind of comes close, which we'll talk about. But no, this. I'm a big fan of the 2014 Godzilla. I think that movie is great. And man, this trailer is fucking beautiful. And it's epic, it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. It looks so excellent. There's some shots in this trailer that I just want to print out and cover my walls with. It's just I've never been a huge Godzilla fan in the past. I've seen the original Godzilla, and I've seen the 2014 Godzilla. No, I've seen the original, the original, not the Matthew Broderick one. And I've never been super fan. I've never been super into the lore of it. Just been loving the 2014 one. And I'm just this trailer. It looks great. I've watched it twice. I watched it when it first came out, then maybe the day after or so. I haven't watched it since then. I didn't watch it to prepare for this episode. I watched a few other trailers because I just know that is the best trailer. And we were kind of just running short for time, so I didn't watch it. But that is it's my favorite trailer from Comic-Con. I want to know what you have to say.
Yeah, I'll say I still haven't seen the 2014 one. I know we talked about it back when Rogue One was coming out because of Gareth Edwards. I will watch it. Good. However, when I first seen the trailer, I didn't care. I was kind of under. Yeah, good. This Godzilla one. I was kind of underwhelmed, to be honest. The first time I seen it, I watched it on my phone, and I'm not a big Godzilla guy. I've seen some of the other movies. There's been a lot, and I could never get into him the way I can get into Kong. Okay. And why I say that, because ultimately this is leading up to Kong vs. Godzilla. I'm Team King Kong. Anyway,
not your wild.
To this trailer, I had a change in heart similar to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. When I first seen the original trailers for that, I seen it on my phone. I thought it stunk balls, to be honest. I seen it in the movie theaters, and it totally changed my perspective on it. Same with Godzilla. I had seen the trailer play when I had seen Mission Impossible Fallout, and it does look beautiful. There are shots that, I would totally put up on my wall.
And the music.
I do think this looks good. The difference from watching it on a tiny phone to a big screen and great sound is it changes things. And now, for me, I didn't have that connection to Godzilla 2014, so maybe if I seen that and I really liked it, that would play more into this. I think it is a good trailer. It's got me excited more. However, honestly, what I'm most interested to see in this is not even Godzilla or the monsters. It's Millie Bobby Brown. Why I say that is because you see her in Stranger Things. She's great in Stranger Things, and there's a craze around Millie Bobby Brown of how she's going to be the biggest thing. I'm interested to see her not in Stranger Things.
Yeah, she looks great. Just from her shots in the trailer, she looks great in this too. That's something I should have mentioned as well. But yeah, just the music and the way it complements the visuals, just so nice. I'm really slacking on movies I have to see. I have a list of movies I want to see on my phone because I haven't been to the theater in a little bit, and it's been pissing me off, but I've just been so fucking busy. So I'm excited that when I go back to the movies and see Fallout, I hope they're playing this in front of it like they were for you, and I'm really excited for that because I think that even though I loved it watching it on my phone, I think the experience watching it in a theater will always beat it. I'm excited.
Especially for I seen it in the AVX, which is bigger than traditional. It's not as big as IMAX, but definitely helped.
Yeah.
And a side note here, a non-complaint about Mission Impossible Fallout. I don't know why the hell the movie was in 3D. I seen that movie and it was in 3D. I was so confused. I didn't think it was in 3D.
Huh.
If you have an option to not see it in 3D, totally do that.
I don't know why
it's not
any
a critique
movie's
on the
in
film.
3D.
I hate 3D,
so
but
dumb.
like some movies can somewhat do stuff with it, but most can't. And Mission Impossible definitely doesn't do it, which is not a critique on the movie itself. It's a critique on whoever decided let's do that 3D. Anyways, another trailer that came out of Comic-Con.
Let's hear it.
It's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Okay.
I will start this off with I liked the first Fantastic Beasts. However, I've only seen it once, and I don't care to go back to it. One of the things I thought missing from that was the magic of Harry Potter. I'm not a big Potterhead. However, I've seen the 8 films. Some I like more than others. And it did have, obviously the magic feel, Wizard World. So I see this trailer. I don't know if I care about it. I still feel it's missing the wonder. I'm intrigued because I liked the first one, and I'll see it, but I'm not like over the moon, and I don't really care. Convince me why I should care.
Okay, I don't know if I can quite convince you because I'm not that passionate about it, but it's really interesting how we're kind of not agreeing with these trailers or things right now to do with this Comic-Con. I didn't really like the first Fantastic Beasts. I thought it was just kind of very wacky and very tonally all over the place. Remember when Eddie Redmayne almost got raped by an elephant or whatever the fuck that was, and they played it for humor? Like, that was some weird shit. That movie's weird.
That definitely wasn't funny. Didn't work.
No, that was very bizarre. And when I think of that movie, that's all I can think about. And it's not even fucking hyperbole. That's just all I can think about.
Well, can I ask you a question before you go on? Is that spoilers for that? In the end, I forget. Isn't there like some type of like sacrifice where he has to wipe his friend's mind, and it was like 3 of them or 2 of them?
It's like Is that with the rain? Like I'm pretty sure it rains, and then everyone who gets wet, they forget what they just saw or something like that.
Now, here's the thing of why I bring that up. From what I remember, and it's been like close to 2 years now. I've only seen it once, but watching this trailer, doesn't it kind of take away because you see all the faces that are supposed to forget everything come back?
Honestly, I don't remember that from the first one, but if that's true, then yeah, I would say.
I remember the short guy, like the main, his like sidekick guy who wasn't a whatever you call them, a wizard. I believe he had his memory wiped or something like that. Yeah, he had his memory wiped. He worked at some bread place. But I don't know. Listen, you go on.
It's starting to come back. I don't remember. Yeah.
I remember it, but when I watch this, it just why did we go through that in the first one if we're just bringing them back? Because then are we gonna explain why they remember? Because then I feel like we're wasting time now.
Maybe I don't know. Have to explain it.
I haven't seen the movie. I can't fully critique it that way. That's just me talking about the trailer.
I wish I had a better answer for you. I wish I could remember beyond Eddie Redmayne almost getting raped by an elephant, but I wish I could answer your question. But I'm sure it's got to be something they'll explain or have some type of answer for. But yeah, this new trailer, I kind of liked it. I thought it was good. I think a big part of it to me was the music, and that build up with that music was so good. And I think this trailer captures more of that Harry Potter feel than the first movie did, in its entire runtime. Maybe that's because it's easier. Maybe it's easier to pack that feel into like a 2-minute video, a 2-minute trailer than a whole film. Maybe that's it. But even so, this gets me more excited than thinking about the last movie. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say beyond that. I think it captures that feel more. I'm not passionately looking forward to this. I don't really have much beyond that to say because, again, I don't really care too much. But for what it is, for what the trailer is, I think it does its job.
Well, it's the guy who plays the Flash. I forget his name. Ezra Miller. He's Wasn't he in spoilers for the first one again? But wasn't he ultimately what turns into who Johnny Depp is? And then he like dies or something, but now he's back.
Was he? Because
Yeah.
I remember at the end someone turns into.
Well, yeah.
Johnny
Remember,
Depp.
there's a whole chase of them of he's going crazy, and then he kind of like just turns into nothing at the end. He's screaming, and then just like there's just things floating in the air. I mean, the more I talk about the first one, I think I dislike it more than what I remember. I mean, I guess what I would say to what you were saying, though, I feel it's easier to make it feel more like Harry Potter because we get like a 2-minute trailer and a lot of it has Hogwarts. What if the movie only has like 5 minutes of Hogwarts? Then
That's true. That's true.
to me, that's where the feeling of the original Harry Potter, of the Harry Potter movies come from. Because once we leave Hogwarts and we go into the world, it just reminds me of what we've already seen of Fantastic Beasts. Now, hey, that's just what I think of the trailer. Maybe when the movie comes out, it'll be awesome. And hey, if I think so, I'll let you know.
Chances are it probably won't be, though.
Probably, yeah. I don't, and wasn't there plans to do 6 movies for this? First one made some money, did make some bank. Not as much as Harry Potter, but
Hold on.
you got to think.
Colin, who's the Colin that's in it? It's Colin Firth,
Farrell?
right? Farrell.
Firth,
Colin
Farrell,
Farrell.
something.
Colin
One
Farrell.
of them.
I always get them mixed up. It's the one that's not the King's Speech one, the other one. He's the guy that turns into Johnny Depp.
Is
not
he?
Ezra Miller. Yeah.
Then who was Ezra Miller? Because I remember didn't he somewhat die at the end?
Does he turns into
No, you're right. Yeah. But Ezra Miller, something happens to Ezra Miller. I thought
Doesn't
he
he turn into
disappeared.
like a black
Dust or something. Yeah, a black cloud.
Like cloud or
Yeah,
something.
dust or a cloud.
Something like that. I don't fucking know.
I don't. Yeah. I don't.
Oh
know.
my god.
I don't. Maybe they'll explain it in an easy way as I'm saying, well, hey, Luke maybe just went on a vacation. That's what happened.
Right. Maybe Ezra Miller is naked on another planet.
Ezra Miller could be naked on another planet. That is what could happen.
All right.
Now, another trailer that came out, I think I like this, but I think you're going to be more excited to talk about is Glass.
Yeah.
Now, I said this last podcast we did. I liked Unbreakable. I like Split more. To me, this trailer has the perfect blend of both, I feel. And it looks awesome.
Yeah, I love Unbreakable and I love Glass. I mean, not Glass, you fucking idiot. I love Split. And it looks like I'm going to love Glass. I have so much faith in M. Night, and just his passion on his Twitter is just so infectious. I'm really looking forward to Glass. And this trailer, it didn't blow my socks off. It wasn't like, holy shit. Maybe it's because I already had high expectations for this movie. But it is right exactly what I wanted it to be and what I expected it to be. I dig it. I think all the leads look great. What's the main girl's name? I'm blanking on it now. She's in The Witch.
I can look that up. Yeah, she's also in Ocean's 8.
Anya
She's good in
Taylor-Joy.
Ocean's 8.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, her. I thought you were talking about the other main one. Oops. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, yeah, the other one that opens the trailer. No, not her.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy is so great, and she's so amazing in Split. And The Witch.
She's
I want more of
fantastic
her,
in
and I'm
Split.
so excited she's coming back. Sam fucking Jackson looks like a fucking beast in this movie. He did when we saw the posters, or there was a photo of him in his wheelchair with his purple suit that came up before. But he looks great. I'm a huge Sam Jackson fan. There's just some shots in here that look so beautiful. I mentioned that with Godzilla, and again in here, it's something that I really do like to see in trailers. You have 90 minutes of shots. You can take the best ones, throw them in the trailer. It looks really good. It's got
But
like
even
the
the use of
superhero
color.
horror vibe. Yes, color.
I
That's
love.
what I was getting to when I was mentioning the shots. It is the color. Like there's one in the one that stands out that's in a comic book store, I believe, with the purple and then like those neon lights. Looks excellent. Look, M. Night. He's made one great movie recently. I think not a big fan of The Village. He made Split. And seeing this trailer, like M. Night's got to be back, right? I don't know. Just Bruce Willis looks great. I really hope we get. I hope we get the character. I forget Bruce Willis' character's name, but I really hope we get that character and that we don't get Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Yeah. It just scares me because I think of Death Wish. But no, I totally have faith in everyone involved in this project.
Well, without seeing Glass, I can just assume Glass is not going to be Death Wish.
No,
So
for sure. I just thinking Bruce Willis. Like,
yeah.
come on. Death Wish is
I feel he'll show up. I mean, if he doesn't show up, I think at least 50% of him will show up, which I think is more than any other movie can say recently.
Yeah, and I know for sure James McAvoy is going to be there, fucking killing it. Of course, with like the flashiest role, like his split roles, like super flashy. You have a lot of range, a lot to play with. But something more subtle, like Sam Jackson's character, Mr. Glass. I think Sam Jackson's going to be great, like I mentioned before. But yeah, just like
I even like the whole angle of this of Sarah Paulson, which I thought you were alluding to earlier, of her being a psychiatrist, and it's like they're living in a world where people think they're superheroes, but I mean, to her angle would be a mental illness.
Right.
Then is it really somebody being a superhero? Is just mental illness? Which I mean, we've seen Unbreakable, we've seen Split. I assume it's not just mental illness, but hey, maybe this.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely an interesting little metaphor for it because Split plays off that a lot.
Yeah, totally.
Remember the controversy? I don't know if you remember this one. The Split trailer came out, and everyone's talking about how they're villainizing people with mental illnesses and how like not everyone with schizophrenia or whatever is gonna kill you, that kind of thing. And then you watch the movie, and it is just like you see the scene at the end. I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if everyone's seen it. But there's just that scene at the end with Anya Taylor-Joy and James McAvoy, and they talk, and it's just like, this is what everyone who's outraged about the trailer needs to see. You don't gotta get outraged before you see the movie, because the whole movie is addressing it, and it's so beautiful. And I think this movie's kind of gonna hit those same notes, because of the stuff you were mentioning about the psychiatrist and the mental illness angle. Like, I think M. Night is sensitive to these issues more than people would believe he is, but. Yeah.
But even to go back, what we started with this whole outrage culture is everybody loves to be so outraged before they see something, or it's movies, it's an escape, and yet some can be very true and real. But at the same time, people can't disassociate reality from entertainment.
I get that.
And it's not exploiting. Like, I can understand some things exploit things, but everybody loves to be outraged before they love to judge, be outraged before they see something and judge it themselves. But most people don't make up their mind. They see something online, they'll roll with it, and they won't see the actual product. That's not everybody. Some people can have outrage from whether like if you see Mission Impossible, you'll like it. I mean, it's different than outrage, but everybody has that opinion.
Yeah, I think the big problem with this, with getting outraged, like pop culture stuff, is when like this idea, you watch a trailer or you hear a movie's title or whatever, and without even seeing the whole picture, without even watching the film or the TV show or whatever, you instantly cast judgment on it. Like, I get being outraged. You watch the whole movie and say there's some type of theme or idea in there that is completely disrespectful to you, that you feel. I get that outrage more than you watch a trailer, you assume you know what the movie's going to tell you about one thing, and then you pass judgment on it well before you have any context. I think that's where the real toxicity lies.
Speaking of toxicity, I'll mention this real quick. Is I watched this interview with Christopher McQuarrie, director, writer of Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. He wrote, other things, and it was with Collider. And if anybody's listening to this, they should go watch this interview. I think it was like a week ago, maybe 5 days ago, and he was asked about, toxic fan bases, because what I had mentioned last week, he had an experience with certain Star Wars fans, because Rian Johnson tweeted, hey, if you are interested in learning more about writing, you should go follow Christopher McQuarrie because he has great insight on writing. And suddenly he just was bombarded by a bunch of Star Wars fans, quote unquote Star Wars fans, that just were so hateful. And I'll paraphrase real quick because I mentioned it, but he articulates it so well that if anybody's, they want to know, it's not like the reason of toxic fan bases, but he just articulates it in such a beautiful way. Pretty much says, like, I had this interaction with somebody, like I direct messaged them because I wanted to know why they were so angry. And he had said, ultimately what he got down to from talking to this guy, that this guy had said, listen, when you pretty much F with my expectations, I'm going to F with you. And how he was saying, like, it's ultimately, when he talked to these people, it was about their expectations, and they expected something, they didn't get it, and then they vocalized it in a hateful way, which when he talked to them said, you don't have to just say you hate somebody because of this or that, and you can just vocalize, you were upset because your expectations weren't met, whether it be who's someone's daddy, who's this person, who's that. Yeah, I thought he articulates it in such a good way.
Because I had heard about that's the same person who said they weren't going to do a superhero movie.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
He had said, because he had talked to Henry Cavill and said, like, hey, if you ever want me to do a Superman movie, all you got to do is ask. So I hear that, like, yo, Christopher McQuarrie doing a Superman movie, give me that. And then thinking of just being a fan of Christopher McQuarrie, prospect of him doing a Star Wars film gets me really excited. And then when he's attacked by a bunch of people and says, listen, you know what, I don't even want to deal with this, so I wanted to do one, but now after experiencing this, I don't. Sad to see. Hopefully he has a change of heart. I would like to see him do one eventually, but yeah, that was Christopher McQuarrie.
All right.
Yeah, and you know what, we're gonna talk about something
we're at like the hour mark,
and it's Shazam. I'm gonna mention real quick, since I want to talk about the other one more, but Shazam, I was very excited when I heard David F. Sandberg was doing this film, and Zachary Levi being cast. Zachary Levi just seems like the perfect guy to embody a boy suddenly being able to become a man without it seeming, stupid or ridiculous, as he just captures what it seems like a boy would be if he ultimately has his power to become a man. Now, you may look at this and it's in this, they label it the worlds of DC, whether they run with that or not. Let's just call it we've all called it the DCU. Warner Brothers DC never ran with that. It wasn't their thing, so now they're saying worlds of DC. If you want to look at the other worlds of DC movies, tonally, it's different, but it's supposed to be. Shazam, maybe in certain iterations you know of the character, but the character is not going to be, something you've seen out of Batman vs Superman. And what I like of their direction with like a Wonder Woman, an Aquaman, a Shazam now, even this Joker, it's less of the universe and more of the character. And even when you watch this trailer, you see the newspaper for Man of Steel. You see a Batarang, his foster brother wears an Aquaman shirt, a Wonder Woman shirt, a Batman shirt, a Flash shirt. And it's sprinkled in there, but it's more of the character of Shazam. I thought this was all awesome. It looks delightful. And I can't wait to see this. I really love this trailer.
Yeah, I think I like this trailer for sure. It reminded me a lot of Big, with Tom Hanks.
There's a lot of
very similar. The bit at the end I think stood out the most. The joke where he's bragging to the girl that he's a superhero. That stood out to me as real funny. I didn't know anything about how he's a kid and then he says the word and then he becomes an adult. I just got my whole first introduction to the story watching this trailer, and I think it does a great job of that. It looks fun. It looks kind of funny. You mentioned the other DC connecting stuff. It's definitely there, and it's subtle enough, I guess. It's bizarre to me. This DC universe is still very bizarre to me because they were trying at first so hard to make it dark. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. And now you see this trailer, and when they have like the Batarang in there and the Man of Steel thing on the paper, it's like it's kind of jarring to me because it feels like two completely different things, and it reminds me of past movies. And I don't think that's a fair criticism on this movie alone. I think it's just a criticism.
I think it's a fair criticism on the universe. I think an issue with that being you launch this universe and it's not a critique on Zack Snyder. I am a fan of Zack Snyder. I think he's fantastic visual storyteller. But when you launch a universe off of one director's vision of something, you're not going to have a coherent universe, which is why if you don't have a Kevin Feige running it and spearheading it, it's going to feel tonally different, which is why when you see a Patty Jenkins, a Wonder Woman, yet being dark, it doesn't feel like a Snyder movie. Yes, if you want to point out he was, Zack Snyder was involved with the movie. I get it. But it was Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, I get that.
Aquaman's not going to feel like it. And I feel like now they're hitting their stride. But it's an understandable criticism of the universe.
I miss that Zack Snyder verse, though, but I totally get what you're saying. If you build a universe off one person's vision, it's a little more difficult. But I kind of miss it. I really like that direction, and I don't think that direction, like darkness, was the problem with Batman v Superman. But this is a whole other topic. Let's talk about Aquaman now.
Aquaman. Okay, Aquaman. I I will say one of the things in Justice League that I did like was Aquaman. He didn't have much to work with, Jason Momoa, but ultimately I liked it. Now, what I'm glad about is that we didn't see as much of Atlantis, because what we saw fucking sucked. Sucked balls. That what we saw of Atlantis sucked. It was awful. And I'm a fan of Amber Heard. What she had to work with for Mera in Justice League, she had nothing to work with. I don't know who filmed those scenes, but they did not give her any direction whatsoever. And it's very clear seeing the Aquaman trailer, because she is delightful to watch in this Aquaman trailer. She has a personality, which she did not in Justice League, at least my opinion. And when you see this world, I think it's so beautiful. It's stunning. And I mean, maybe we've had another movie that takes place underwater, but like now is the time to do it with technology. And even James Gunn, they filmed some stuff underwater. Obviously, a lot of it's going to be CG, but I think it looks beautiful. I think James Wan, it looks like he killed it. I think he did. This looks awesome. Looks fucking awesome. It takes what sucked balls in Justice League, turn it around, and this is awesome.
Oh no, I don't think it looks that great.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh.
I don't even know what it is. I think, I think the CG is kind of wonky, but I'd hate to be the guy to shit on it and complain about that.
Disagree on that.
I do think it looks kind of fake. It doesn't feel very James Wan-y like I was more expecting it to be. Aquaman and Justice League I thought was poo-poo. I didn't care about him. Like, he was kind of cringy. I'm just kind of underwhelmed with this Aquaman trailer. I still have hopes in the movie, of course. I still think it can be great. I have all the faith in the world in James Wan. But it's just like, there was something about this trailer. It felt very artificial. Or like, there was just like, I was trying so hard to like it. Again, I only watched it once, and I was kind of upset with it, and I haven't seen it since. I may change my mind, and maybe if I watch it on the big screen, definitely for sure I could change my mind. But as it stands right now, it's like, yeah. I'm so sorry.
I couldn't disagree. I think it looks epic, and to me the CG looks brilliant. And even when December comes, CG definitely changes. Which a lot of people had criticism stuff like the Shazam costume. That's not what it's finally going to look like. Whether you have an issue with it at the end, that's all right. But CG consistently changes, and something very clear that you can look at. Look at the Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming trailers. Since they had a practical suit, but a lot of it is CG. You can tell from each trailer and to the final product of how different it looks. Now, I think it will look different. However, I think what I've seen, I think it looks beautiful, brilliant. I love the use of color. I love the way it was shot. I think it's shot beautifully. For me, I feel the adventure. I feel the spark, and it gets me excited. This would be my second favorite trailer, maybe first. It would be Glass and Aquaman from Comic-Con for me.
I agree with the Glass thing, but I know I'm definitely the minority. For the most part, everything I've seen people say about the Aquaman trailer is really high praise. I should have watched it again before this, to be honest. But
what I'll say to you though.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So with it being Comic-Con, obviously for people that were at the panels, they showed other footage. Like there were trailers for like the Predator and Venom that we didn't get to see because they didn't release it to the public. Now, from what I heard from the Aquaman panel, DC panel, is that I watched one of Collider's videos for it, and I want to say it was Perry Nemiroff who said this. It may have been someone else that said they didn't like the trailer, like this trailer that we've seen, but they showed an extended version of it at the panel that was much better. So maybe that's something for you if they show that eventually. But yeah, I figured I share that since you bring up that you didn't like this.
Yeah, I mean that's nice knowing that someone else wasn't as hot on it, and that there was something else that did get them more excited. So. No, I'm not too worried. Like, it was underwhelming, but I'm not. It doesn't really put a damper too much on how I think this movie's going to turn out. I know the CG is still not fully complete, I guess, and it's a totally different experience seeing a movie like this on the big screen. And like I said, James Wan, he's my man, so I'm not too worried. I'm still going to see the movie, and I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're okay, I'm okay. And I think
Everyone's
we're okay. Everybody's okay, and I think we're okay to get
Is
out of here.
everyone okay? Should we make sure everyone's okay?
I don't think
Everyone
everybody's okay. I think everybody is, I mean, we've talked about we've got outrage culture. We've talked about that. We both disagree with the firing of James Wan.
Yes.
We've learned that. We've learned that originally Vader killed everybody.
We've
also learned that
everybody.
Carrie Fisher is going to be in Episode 9.
He killed everybody.
We also learned that Luke Skywalker might be naked on a beach somewhere.
Not might be. It is
He
confirmed.
might be. Not likely.
No, it is confirmed.
It is confirmed. Okay, we've said it.
We have confirmed that Mark Hamill will have his schlonger out.
I don't know if I want to see Schlonger in Star Wars. Would you ever want to see an R-rated Star Wars movie?
What?
Would you ever want to see an R-rated Star Wars movie?
I won't say no. I won't say no. I would totally watch an R-rated Star Wars movie.
Like, how would you feel if one day down the line we had like an R-rated, let's say it's a TV series or movie, and there's just a full-on, like a full frontal Game of Thrones sex scene in Star Wars?
I don't know. I feel like if like it's a movie, like, say The Last Jedi comes out and then the following movie is something like that, totally bizarre, totally off-putting. If you maybe with their streaming service, we get some shows that are a little more PG-13ish, and we get a little nip slip here or there, a little bun shot, and we transition to some full frontal. Some good Game of Thrones sex scenes. Maybe that'll work. I don't think we'll ever get it.
I don't think, I gotta say, I like R-rated stuff. I can always have, good sex scene, but I think I'm okay with PG-13 Star Wars.
I think maybe once they milk, because like a lot of Star Wars right now is banking off the nostalgia. I think once they milk that cow dry, maybe they'll start... We'll start bringing in some boobies and some penis and maybe some fucks. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We've had a few asses, we've had a few hells, and no, we haven't seen. I mean, sure, you've seen ass, but not bare ass in Star Wars, but language-wise.
Yes, there's a big difference between seeing ass and bare ass too.
Yeah, but what I was getting at is we've heard the word ass, we've heard the word hell, we've heard a lot of words in Star Wars these days.
Oh yeah.
But hell, that was an Empire, so anybody who gets mad that Finn said it in The Force Awakens, Han said it first. No, I don't think someone else said it, and I believe it was Uncle Owen in Star Wars. That said
what does he say? Hell.
Hell.
Says hell.
Hell. The word hell. Yeah.
Hell.
I remember when The Force Awakens came out, there were people saying, "What? How can someone say hell in Star Wars?"
What? I never heard that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know what? I'll say one last thing. So, and listen, this is just everything you heard before. That's just talking a lot of new stuff we heard. This is my own, all of this is my own opinion, but to bring it back, and then I'm going to shut up so we can get out of here. So I'm rewatching The Force Awakens, and to be honest, it was my first time since The Last Jedi had come out since I had watched it. I've seen it multiple times. It's an unhealthy amount of times by now. And I was like, you know what? Today I'm feeling like The Force Awakens. So I go back and watch it, and, as much as people want to say, oh, Ryan threw out, but ultimately he was given a job to do, and it didn't say follow this, and there wasn't an outline to follow. For people that say, oh, he, for the parent thing, JJ set up that it could be someone or nobody, and especially in the scene with Maz Kanata in second Takodana, where she's saying, yo, whatever you're thinking about before, your parents, they're not coming back. It's not what's behind you, it's what's ahead. It's what ahead. Luke Skywalker's ahead, not your parents behind. So ultimately you can look at however you want to look at, but J.J. Abrams himself put that in The Force Awakens.
Right.
So, people say, J.J. Abrams set up that. He set up for her to be a nobody, but yet he can turn it to say she's a somebody. So people, when they're upset, it's okay to be upset with your expectations. Just look at when you say, oh, Ryan threw at everything. Look at what JJ set up.
Expectations ruin everything. Just forget them.
Hashtag speculate responsibly.
Boom. Damn. Good way to end it. Some fucking knowledge.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
So I feel like the past few weeks have ended with a rant on Star Wars.
No, we've had some good endings the past few weeks. Yeah, I remember there was a one. You had a really long Star Wars one, I think, last week or week before.
Last one, I've thought about it, and like I didn't vocalize it in the right way because you may have heard that and sounded like I was attacking fan accounts. I wasn't attacking fan accounts.
No, I didn't.
There's
get
a
that.
guy I
didn't
see
get
of
that.
like that has like a Flash fan account who loves the character Flash. I was talking about creepy.
Yeah,
accounts,
no, I understood what you
accounts.
meant. I think for the most part, people did. Yeah.
Hopefully, I wasn't sure if I vocalized that right because like I went on for like 10 minutes about fan accounts, which is
Yes,
not
you
like
did.
if you're a fan, love what you love, but I was talking about the creepy ones.
Oh yeah, no, I knew where you were coming from.
But yeah, I'll shut up.
I'm just
'cause you know what?
opening Premiere here right now. Just I gotta fucking
ready.
upload last episode's week. I never uploaded last episode.
Oh, look at that.
Last week's episode. Anyways,
Yeah.
not last episode's a week. Come on, now I'm losing it. I'm all over.
Yeah,
the place.
whoa. Yeah. I say we jump on out of here before we go too crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
All right.
Yeah,
Jake
we'll
and Ben.
be back next time.
iTunes 5 stars if you love us. Google Play, you listen there. What else? YouTube, you can listen there. Except I always fucking upload our podcast on YouTube late because I'm stupid. It's just so much easier to put on the other places. Anyways, Facebook, Twitter, Jake and Ben Show. You'll find us. I think that's it. Just follow us, rate us, comment, do your thing, and I think that's it. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.